you from our Enugu studios. Enugu is the capital of Southeast Nigeria. And of course, there's a slogan in Enugu that is here. Today's conversation promises to be both timely and thought-provoking. As Nigeria's political landscape continues to evolve, attention is increasingly turning toward party strength, grassroots mobilization, and strategic positioning, especially ahead of the 2027 election cycle. Today, we're going to take a closer look at the All Progressives Congress and its prospects in Enugu State. And that's what our topic is, positioning APC for future electoral success in Enugu State. Or someone might even say repositioning APC for future electoral success in Enugu State. For years, Enugu State has largely been dominated by the PDP since 1999, making it a challenging terrain for the APC. However, with shifting political dynamics, growing youth engagement, and renewed party restructuring, questions are being asked. And what are those questions? Can APC redefine its strategy in Enugu? What structures need to be strengthened? How prepared is the party for the future elections? These are issues we'll be unpacking just in a while. So we are being joined this morning to lead this conversation by a key political figure and a strategist. Of course, some people say he's a gentleman. I think I agree with them, he's a gentleman, but he's a politician all the same. He is Dr. Martin from Chukwuemeke. He is the Enugu State Chairman of the APC. Doc, good morning, and thank you for joining us on Beyond Headlines.
Good morning, thank you for inviting me.
Okay, let me first of all congratulate you very warmly on your seamless transition from the chairman of the ruling party then, the People's Democratic Party, the party that won the election in 2023, to an opposition party, the APC, which is now the ruling party in Enugu State. Doc, you will agree with me, and you may not realize that within living memory, you are one person, one politician, to make such a seamless transition. I want to be contradicted. I want to be proved wrong. And if that is so, how does that make you feel? You were chairman of the ruling party, and there were circumstances that prompted that the entire structure of that party should move to another party. You move to another party, and you retain your chairmanship. How do you feel about this?
Thank you very much. Well, I was chairman of the PDP, like you said, and now I'm chairman of the APC. Not just retained, I was re-elected as the chairman of the new party. I feel so highly honored by that thing. I feel so happy. I feel, like you said, it hasn't happened before. People sometimes when they see me, they tell me chairman of two parties. I said no, I was chairman of PDP, but now I'm chairman of APC. And remember that APC was only opposition in Enugu. But broadly speaking, APC was a ruling party in Nigeria. And that broadly, PDP was also opposition in Nigeria. But in the microcosm of the state, PDP was then the ruling party, APC was the opposition. Now we have joined APC. Everybody knows why we joined, why we left PDP. The problem has not even been resolved up to now. So when we got there, the former ESCO expired, there was an election, and I was then elected chairman of the APC, for which I feel so highly, very, very happy about that. And whatever we're doing in PDP, we're going to do it better even than APC. Because when we were PDP, we had only the government, and now in APC, we are linked to the center, and a lot of goodies come to it for the Enugu as a whole. So I feel happy about it, and still energized and prepared to do even more on the back end.
Okay, thank you, Doc. Okay, let's begin with even a bigger picture. How would you assess the current state of APC in Enugu State today?
the current state of APC is a party that has blossomed from almost an insignificant level to the climax, the preponderance of all our people in Enugu State being APC members. APC has moved from almost non-existence to prominence because in the last election they didn't even come third. APC scored only about 4,000, okay, maybe for the presidency about 4,000 votes. But in the governorship they didn't come third. PD became first, Labour second, and I think they now came third. Very, very distant third. And now, majority of people in the Enugu State, majority of both the elites, both the masses, now believe that APC is the place to go. And it's not just because we are answering APC. It's because the party is just a platform for people to contest elections. And these days, people are looking at individuals, not a party, so to speak. So, as a party, the APC has started doing well, apparently because of the person who is piloting the affairs of APC for now, which is our government, Dr. Peter and. So that people who believe in him have joined him wherever he is, and other areas are now being depleted, and that's where we are now, and I believe we're still going to get stronger because many people who don't still understand why we left PDP have now understood it, and they know that it was a timely decision to have left at that time, and now to have gone to a place where I can tell you is the only party that is prepared for election in 2027. Every other person is still battling with the existence. But APC is thinking of how to consolidate and win the election in 2027. So we're doing fine.
Okay, many people believe, and rightly so, those the naysayers may say not true, that Peter Simba was actually visionary. It's like he saw tomorrow, and then he decided to leave PDP the time he did. Because as we speak, it is almost obvious that PDP is almost a carcass. A lot of effort being made to. In fact, my friends, Uboke said it was an intensive care unit. But somebody said that sometimes people go into intensive unit and then they come out. Maybe their life will never be the same. So Peter saw it quite, the governor saw it quite all, and then decided to leave at that day. Otherwise, it would have been, the whole of it would have been kind of a mess now. But let's get back to APC. How do you plan to sustain what the outgone Kefka chairman then what you call splinter groups? Because prior to your taking over, the quote unquote original APC, they were like Afghanistan, have several camps, several splinter groups. So now that they've come under your effective control, how do you plan to ensure that all these splinter groups are brought together under one tent?
Well, that I must say that has already been done during the time of when there was a caretaker committee headed by Ben Moyo, Dr. Ben Moyo, who is presently the Deputy National Chairman of APC South. That means he's National Chairman, Deputy National Chairman for 17 states.
That's huge.
That's huge. The whole of the southern states. When he was there, I mean, before we came on board, we knew there were different factions in APC. Ben was part of one of them, and my other friend, Bushogla, was one of them. With the arrival of Dr. Peter, he saw the need to reconcile all the groups. Since the governor entered, before he entered, there were a lot of people saying they won't let him in. Do you remember that? Before we entered, we actually entered the APC on the 14th of October last year. And before then, people were saying, we don't want him. Let him stay in PDP. We're going to come and defeat him. Now, when he joined, the smartest thing he did was that he now reconciled the two major factions. There are actually two major factions. Those of Kutu and those of Ben. We now became one. Then we now brought the people from PDP, Labour, and they are now one united APC in Enugu State. If God didn't do that, this thing wouldn't have been seamless. But before you know it, someone will go to court. Yeah. Like it's happening in some other parties now, saying that they didn't do this and that. People were already prepared to go to court until the governor intervened, did a very perfect job. Anywhere we go to now as APC, you will see all our friends there. You will see Electoral there. You will see Ben there. You will see we are working together. Even when we came on board, as we had Ketega in at the state, we also had Ketega, the government, Ketega, and the wards. These were made up of people from the PDP, APC, and LEP, taking each group into consideration. So that splitter group doesn't exist anymore. The government did a masterly job on that issue, and that will continue until we deliver 2027, which is almost here. Because we have less than 1 year.
Yes, January
20th and February 6th.
It's already there. Now, there's one success recorded by your predecessor, and that was the e-registration. It started slowly, but over time, it gained momentum, and there was this almost massive e-registration. How do you plan to solidify on this? Because, of course, registration that don't go anything can never. The more you register, the more you are emboldened by membership. So, what plan do you have to continue this e-registration?
The e-registration started and ended before the convention, before the congresses. Because that's the normal constitutional issue. When you're doing convention and things like that, you stop registration, submit your register, and use that register to do the election. Now, 2-3 days back, we have started e-registration again. It's going to continue, like it's an ongoing thing. But before the election, it has to be stopped. Registers will be submitted to INEC so that they will know those who are in the register. If you come to contest election, your name is not in that register. Your Christian time is on their own. That's why people who are interested in politics, who want to contest elections, must make sure that their names are in the register. And the new e-registration is an innovation which you must give credit to the present government. Because before then, you see what they call them, bandits coming from across the border.
Yes.
People are registered as voters. But now you see it's a station where you cannot register as a party member if you're not a Nigerian. For a Nigerian, you have to get your NIN. Once you have NIN, you're Nigerian. If somebody is able to come from outside and manages to get NIN, he becomes a Nigerian. But not that is the time of everyone can go and register. Can't carry member. You just carry. People can even go and print. Papers. Because then it used to be cards that are printed where people fill the forms. But now when you do it, it comes from online and you print out your membership card. So our party was the first that started it. Other stuff was a joke, but they have started doing it now. Because it makes sense. If you have 10 million voters in Nigeria that are genuine Nigerians, it's rather than having 20 million Nigerians, 20 million voters, where more than half are non-Nigerians.
Okay, there's a big hurdle that I see in the horizon. Until this movement from PDP to APC, Enugu has a low APC voter history. It's not in doubt. You wonder what will be your strategy to make the APC truly popular at the grassroots, especially in rural areas, to ensure that the popularity that PDP enjoyed under Peter Abba was elected is translated to the APC because it's critical.
Right. Well, some of the things that we're doing is one, not just the airlines. Because anywhere you now see Peter Abba, who is the APC governor for now, you also see Sullivan Chime, who was PDP governor, but now an APC member. You also see Ivan Uwai, who was PDP governor, but is now APC member. So all those who are now seeing them together will now know that it looks that we have all moved. All those who are followers of those governors will know that we have moved. Those who knew me as a PDP chairman and now know that I'm APC chairman, who believe in me, they will also move. One guy once said that, not trying to blame them, my trumpeter, that he knows me as a good man. That he didn't know, he doesn't know APC for being a good person. But since I've gone there, there was something good in APC that is going to join me to go and find out what that is.
Yes.
We're also already doing what we call community mobilization and talking to.
Yes.
We have a group that just started in Enugu North, Electoral, by now by people who call themselves community volunteers. They have taken upon themselves to go to the communities to begin to tell people what is happening in Enugu. That Peter Mba is a PDP person. Peter Mba is actually working. He has done quite a lot. The man says specifically, one of the leaders said specifically, that some people would say, that we really hate Peter Mba, he doesn't do anything for us. But some of them don't know that one of the biggest projects he's doing, which is the Ugogo Opi Road, is being done for Nsukka. So he said, when you go and you tell them, you have this project going on in your communities, you have this route going on. But the part of problem they have is that they say they don't even know who is the Peter Mba. You get? And the governor has prepared. We already have a timetable to start ward tour this month. The governor is going to visit all the wards in the state, 260 of them. He must visit them, starting in less than 1 week from now. He will continue to do that until the end of next month. When he will now. So we are talking to our people, telling them our party is a party. Because when you now go to communities and see that those who were conducting the PDP ward meetings are still those who are conducting the APC ward meetings, you now know it's the same thing. Okay. So that's part of our strategy.
Yes, in fact, you took the word from my mouth. I was going to ask about the word-to-word mobilization, but I thank God that you already said, you just said that. The youth population, they remain critical in any country, and in Nigeria, and in Enugu State in particular. And so, my question would be, is there any specific outreach programs for the youth, apart from what government is doing through the SME and other things? Is that a kind of party program for the youth? Because they actually form the largest voting population.
Well, you won't exclude what SME is doing, because the government carries out party programs.
Yes.
So what the government is doing is what the party has actually agreed to do. The SME program is very, very good, and it's actually targeting the youth. The governor has recently appointed SSA on youth in the 3 sectoral zones. That is a very big sense of belonging being given to them, that you have members of their age bracket being brought into governance, being brought into managing the affairs of the constitution of the APC in running a studying party is that the youth is between 18 and 40, and you should make sure that nobody who is above 40 cannot be a youth leader, things like that. So we government is also engaging the youth. Everything we do, we have a youth aspect to it. We have had some of youth rallies in the state, and we intend to continue. What we are going to do now, the convention we went, it was supposed to be for delegates, both statutory and elected delegates. But because of the governor's plan for the youth, he now said the youth has to mobilize about between 70 and 100 youths that will go to Abuja and join, just to observe what's happening. They might not be going to vote, but people would like to participate, to be part of what's happening. And these people were taken to Abuja and brought back by air, kept in hotel, and on return they were also giving some stipends.
I was really going to talk about the excitement I saw, not just for the youth, but for the women, that for the first time in their living history, didn't spend money entering the, I would call it aeroplane. An aeroplane. But I saw them singing, jubilating, that for the first time in their lives, that they've been able to, something they never thought was going to happen.
Exactly.
So it was not just the youth, it was, I also saw the women. And when they came back, you could see the excitement. It's something that is novel.
It's still all over town. It's still all over the town.
Yes, it's something that is novel. But there's an issue that, of course, I won't let you go without even asking that question. If you look at, you just said it, former governor, Titalo Achievement, former governor, Why, and virtually all the major stakeholders in the PDP are now in this. It looks like a very overbloated party, so to speak. In fact, it's no longer that it is big, it appears to be overbloated.
Exactly.
And now we are going to face primaries. I don't know whether you're thinking what I'm thinking. That how are you going to manage these heavyweights who may likely, because all of them will not get a ticket, who they all have eyes on one office or the other. So when they don't get it, how do you plan to manage this people are going to lose out of the primaries?
Well, what happens is that in politics, people have learned to engage more in negotiation. Because if you are contesting from the same party, particular post, and there are 3 of you contesting for it, and 2 of you are eminently qualified, then the thing is to discuss. They will all agree. But one thing that works for us is the issue of zoning and rotation. If you are coming into the contest and it's not your area that you're supposed to produce, it becomes easy for us to convince you to accept some other things. Because some people actually come to contest in order to have a bargaining power. When you know it's not your turn, you come and begin to pull heavy weight. They'll tell you, relax now. Maybe in the next 4 or 8 years to be your zone to do it. We use that rotation to calm people down. Also, we also think of people who have chances of winning the election. If 2 people are contesting, you can even easily say within you that Mr. A has a better chance than Mr. B. Even though Mr. B might have more money to throw around, if it's something that he can bought with money, he can buy the primary with money, but he might go into the general election and will have a problem. So we use some of those things to negotiate and make sure that at the end, we most likely are going to end up with consensus. Because these days, the new electoral law, which we are still studying, it's a very complex document. Will tell you that it's either direct or consensus. Most of these conventions have been done by consensus. Because there's no way you're going to get everybody involved by the party to come and vote. So we will try to manage it. We will not leave, because that's what causes people to leave party. When you say to hell with you, we're not giving it to you, the person walks out, joins another party, and begins to cause trouble. But if you know, the most important thing is, even in Igbo land, they say, I want to be there. If you have a patient dog, it's the first thing. If you relax, and at the end, some things you never expected will come to you. But again, without blowing someone's trumpet. I use myself to give you examples of such things. When I was contesting for things, I never got them. I said, I won't contest I won't contest for anything again.
Yes.
And I stopped contesting, and they started giving me this. So that is how I keep telling people, once you lie low, show loyalty. And we had a meeting yesterday with the state executive. I tell you, one of the things I want you to do is try to be a good person for yourself. That will help transcend or translate to our governor's own attitude. I mean, how people view him. If his people who work for him are good people, consider others. Then they will say, this governor must also be like his workers. And we will be selling him to others as well. So these are some of the things we're going to do to make sure we don't have unnecessary rancor, unnecessary disputes, and people run away from in parallel structures.
Okay. At the point PDP, as it were, under the leadership of Peter Abba, were leaving for APC, one of the things they touted was connecting to the center. And so far, can you let us know, within the short period that people have now connected to the center, what has come to Enugu State? But how far? What is difference? This is as clear as I said, difference is clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so what has happened within the period that you connected themselves?
All right. A lot has happened. I'm not going to enumerate all of them here. But one major thing that has happened is the concessioning of Enugu Airport. Enugu Airport has been concession, and Enugu State, the private firm, and Enugu State is a major player in that particular concession. If we were not connected to the center, then it would have been easy for us to get that. Within the next, Enugu Air has about 6 aircraft right now. We started with 3, now we have 6. The governor said before the end of the year, it's going to be 20. And by July of this year, latest, by July actually, said, Enugu Air is going to be doing international flights. So if you want to go to UK, US, anywhere in the world, you don't need to go to Lagos or go to Abuja again. Now, if you see what has happened what's happening in Enugu Airport, for example, before when you want to travel, you have to probably book your ticket, start booking your ticket about a week before you start time for you to travel. Then I can tell you that if you want to go to Enugu now, Abuja now or Lagos, go to the airport, you still have a flight that will take you to the airport within today. Within those days, once it's 11 o'clock, no more flights will come to Enugu or leave Enugu. But now we have morning, afternoon, and evening flights. This is because of what that connection to the center has done. Also, you know that we had a minister who was of APC instruction. And when we came in, we now had a minister that was directly appointed, submitted by the government. Because ministers are usually submissions to the government. Now we have a minister who was a member of the Executive Council of the Attorney General, who is now Minister for Science, Innovation, Science and Technology. It's a big thing for us, even though the governor is intelligence and the way he reasons. In order to, what he does, he tries to make sure that he doesn't excite people going into opposition or thinking that he's not doing the right thing. You see, the former minister came from the federal government and replaced him with another minister from the local government. Even before then, people from other zones were already just for the ministerial appointment. Peter Mbah should submit his own. He submitted his own, but he has to make sure you don't generate unnecessary rancor from those who have the minister already. Now, also, some part of the things that will be happening, you know, several times the president has been to Enugu, the president has been to Enugu. I believe that with our being in this party now, a lot are going to happen. I might not be able to tell you what that will happen, but our governor was immediately made chairman of a committee that chaired the
Police institutions.
Police and civil institutions. He was there. Each time the president travels, he sees Governor Peter Mbah as an important person to accompany him because of his way of reasoning, because of the way he has attracted things to Enugu. He knows that he can bring ideas to attract things to Nigeria. So, and another thing I cannot mention here, we also had, you know, also that the Enugu State just joined APC. But all zonal APC meetings now used to be held in Hawaii. Because Enugu is the capital of the East. So we have taken that over now. We just had an election, and then somebody from our state, former Catholic chairman, Dr. Benoye, emerged as the deputy national chairman of APC South. Again, if we were not connected to that center, we would have gotten that feat.
Okay, on that note, we'll just take a short break. When we'll come back, we'll continue the conversation.